click?
Yes.
I just was silent. I clicked. Silent. I think I caught click on the audio. I don't know what's happening right now. Are we starting a podcast?
We are starting a podcast. I mean, we've started a podcast before, but this is a new episode of that same podcast. We've created,
It's like the metaverse.
We've created the podcast. Now we're recording the podcast.
What if I gave away the ending of Starlight, which I almost did, even though it hasn't been sent out yet?
Oh.
Oops.
Well, that'd be terrible. It will be sent out shortly and soon. Actually, I have a copy for you. No, I have an actual copy. Yeah.
What?
For you.
Okay. Well,
just for you. From Travis to me.
Okay.
For you.
Well, that's funny because I'm going to see Travis very soon.
Well, then you might.
In fact, I'm going to see Travis.
You might get a copy for him instead.
Okay. Then I'll have.
No, you'll get the one.
Copies.
We don't have We can't afford to give out multiple copies to people, Dan. You comic book hoarder.
I'm not a person. I'm Dan.
Comic book hoarder.
I did. I
hoarder. I didn't say orderer. I said a hoarder. Hoarder of the books. You are. I'm looking behind you. I see nothing but comic books. Yes.
You know, it could be a good thing to have nothing but comic books. I could think of worse hobbies. I could have a lot of crap.
That's true. When the internet and cable was out last week, I read nothing but comic books. So real comic books.
See, if the internet and cable goes out, then I will have infinite
reading. Yeah. Or if the power goes out and you need a fuel supply to make a fire, you could burn some of them.
What?
Just the ones. Just the ones. I
don't understand.
Just your doubles. Just your doubles.
Oh. Okay. Like Strike Force. No, not Strike Force. What am I thinking of?
Strike.
Strike.
Alpha Team? Cyberforce.
Cyberforce. Yes. No, not Aqua. No, like Cyberforce,
okay.
like Image.
But I think if you're burning something like that with its foil.
Brigade.
You could burn Brigade, but then again, with the foil cover, you're going to get that weird smoke in your house.
I don't think it had a foil cover. Cyberforce probably did.
Sure it did.
Cyberforce I actually kept reading.
It didn't get better. You just like you like the artwork on the covers, and
I did like the artwork.
Yeah,
like the little metal.
It looked neat
stuff.
The
liquid metal. Brigade was.
It looks so cool.
All of them, I think. Actually, it didn't really look that cool. The first one didn't have a white cover with Liefeld art on it. I think we thought it was cool at the time.
Sounded cool.
But if you look back,
I think
really
it was the letter, like the when you look at the title of it and the way that title was done, it just looks so neat. It was so big and bold. Brigade. It just sounded cool. Like, oh man, I gotta get this book. It sounds so badass.
I think more I thought it was cool, and maybe you obviously for a different reason, but I mean, I thought we were just going to get him to pick up what he did with Cable and the New Mutants, because that's what the cover looks like.
Yeah.
And then you found out that he had a writer. You found out, wasn't it Nicienza on that book?
Crafting this.
But you found out very quickly, not on Brigade, on
New Mutants,
New Mutants. But anyway, I'm gonna mess that up too. I'll mess up the creator of Cable and Deadpool. But anyway, yes, like when you looked at the cover, it had like. Here, I'm going to put it up here to remind you.
So I can see it.
You can see. This is good audio. Yeah. No one else can
You
see
know,
it, just you.
if we were one of those cool podcasts with a paywall and we did this for the Patreon, people could see the behind the scenes, and then they would get this this whole video thing.
But it's you got the Shatterstar version of Cable with all the Lightfield heads there around.
And you're like, oh, that's so rad.
And you could win the cover too. I wonder how much that. I wonder if that held up in the comic art. That cover.
He's gonna look it up, folks. He's excited. He's thinking about it. I mean, I think our two listeners would be like, I'm not going to give you guys $2 to see behind a paywall to watch you guys talk about this stuff live or after the fact in person.
What if you're a paywall?
Yeah, no, that's
See,
I mean, this is the type of sleuthing that they could do on their own.
Yeah, it turns out if you have Fabian Nicienza writing for you,
get a book,
then your art looks better.
You're drawing to amazing story.
There's the Cable appearance there. Do you see how I? Yeah. Yep.
It's pretty good.
I did. Oh, like. How did Sam Guthrie regress in age from issue 1 from issue 7? Doesn't he look younger than he did when he started? Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome to New Mutants Cast.
We're just going to cover from here on out. We're going to forget about the book we were doing. We're just going to cover the New Mutants. We're going to talk about Sam Guthrie. We're going to talk about all the things that come with this. It's just so invigorating to just jump into this new book that I haven't read.
It's magic.
New Mutants.
New Mutants. See, it is. It's magic. You know.
I'm very excited about it. So where do we start, Dan? Where do we start with this? I mean,
your lack of knowledge of New Mutant characters is astounding me right now. Or you get the joke right away.
My knowledge is... That's why we're starting this whole new podcast just about New Mutant.
Ilyana Rasputin, like the character.
That's why we're doing this, so I can become more educated.
Colossus's little sister, like we really literally talked about it when we did the
way back.
I
mean, she didn't need his help to stop that tractor.
We saw her first appearance.
She could have just stopped it herself.
Right.
She wasn't. I don't think she was able to at the time.
Stop it herself.
But he definitely needed to Colossus out. Can't really say Hulk out.
I don't think
they had her
powers.
She needed to wait a few more years for them to mature.
And cultivate.
like a farm.
A farm.
Like a farm. Like they were living on when they were youngsters back in Russia. Yes.
I do think if you go back to episode 340, you can listen to us talk about Giant Size one. You can also go back to episodes 341 and 342, titled "Everyone Hates Cyclops" and "Everyone Still Hates Cyclops" consecutively, and listen to some early X-Men and 343, where we wonder who dies because one character's face isn't in the corner of the cover.
Mystery.
And then we talked about the Great Darkness Saga for a while. Like these were some fun podcasts. But I guess now we should talk about Human Target
Book 9.
Because we just got done talking about Dimitri.
Yes, we did.
The Rocket Red. And I mean, the Rocket Iron Man. I mean, the Iron Rocket.
He has a Colossus of his own. Shut up, Greg. Hey, I was trying. I was stretching. I was reaching.
I mean, I would date Colossus,
but not Rocket Red.
I don't think he's interested.
But Colossus
is definitely interested.
Okay.
think I have the type
I
of
mean,
body for Colossus.
he likes bald men. Hangs out with them.
Similar. Wow. No, I don't want to be his dad or his mentor. No. All right. Gross. Nope. No. Okay. Never mind. Nope. Nope. We're not doing that. At this point, Colossus is way older than me.
True.
I mean, if we go on the comic timeline.
Oh, goodness.
I think I was 2 when Colossus was in that comic book. So there you go. I mean, yeah,
he could cradle you.
Anyway. Oh boy. Okay. Yep. So human target number 9.
Yes.
You know what? Speaking of cradling, if you want to learn all about cradling, before we talk about book 9 and human target, you can follow project-nerd.com or go to Project Nerd on Facebook or
like the
other
Instagram.
Places.
Yeah.
The Insta.
Or Threads.
Yeah. And you can learn all about cradling.
Oh, yeah? Is that where you you put your arms out and then put a thing like a cradle, or is that using a cradle? Or
I was kind of thinking like a big spoon, little spoon situation.
I don't know. Is that what they're?
You don't know what a big spoon, little spoon is?
Drawer? Like where you got where the spoons rest and the forks and the knives, and you put the big spoons in there and the little spoons in there.
Do you cuddle with your spouse on the couch?
No, we usually have the dogs right between us, so they kind of make a dog barrier.
Okay. Well, that would be why you don't understand. Like if you were cuddling, one person's leaning on the other one, and inside big spoon and the little spoon.
Got it. Just like in the spoon drawer.
It can really be quite. It can really be quite like just pretty normal.
Yeah.
Like not. This is not. It doesn't have to be sexual or anything.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, but different. I don't know. Well, anyway, on Project Nerd.
Oh, Project Nerd.
You can
got all the cradling.
You can find stuff about guys in spandex.
Cradling? Yeah.
Yep.
For the win.
Pin. For the pin. Yeah.
Got it.
It's a wrestling move too.
The cradle?
Not a very good one, but
the
inside cradle
never works.
Never works. Well, it doesn't work in pro wrestling.
Get the position right.
I think it works in amateur wrestling. They always kick out in pro wrestling. You know. Cheater. Well, anyway, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Project Nerd. They help us. They're nice. Go look at what they do. If you like what we do,
you'll like
you'll really like what they do. And if you don't like what we do, then they're actually good. So you can go to their place.
Go to their place. See what they do.
Yeah, and check it out. All right. Well, that's our partner, project-nerd.com or Project Nerd on Facebook and Instagram. Go there. Iggy's amazing. Okay. So, The Human Target, Book 9. We've got people way better than us in Tom King and Greg Smallwood. And we've got a scared Christopher Chance looking back over his shoulder with the shadow of one seemingly bat person.
The dirt.
Dirt. I am the dirt. We talk about this podcast too much. King Falls AM, folks. It's long done, but you should go back and listen to it all and write them and tell them to do more, because they don't even have to do more King Falls AM. They could just do something else. They could
just get the ensemble back together and make something fun to listen to, because boy oh boy. And if you haven't listened to it, it's a fun ride. It's a great experience. They got a fantastic cast, and the commercial bits that they do are top tier. Super great.
And just the whole thing, it was is an entertaining ride. They dealt with some really tough issues in a very fun and humorous way. And if you don't have a sense of humor, don't bother.
Yeah.
But if you do have a sense of humor and an open mind, then have fun. And we joke about it all the time. And we'll have no idea.
No.
Because nobody's listened to it. I mean, lots of people listen to it, but yeah. Anyway. Well, Human Target, Book 9, we get an advertisement for the Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special by Dan Jurgens, which I own.
Nice guy.
Yep. In fact, anytime we see an advertisement now, since you said I was hoarding comics, I'm just going to point out that I own that already.
Oh my gosh. You will.
And we start out with Christopher Chance in bed, shock of shocks, with Ice in bed with him, as we start out most of these books.
Shocker.
And Ice wakes up and is looking at him, and she's checking him out, and she's seeing if he's alive. And she starts doing mouth-to-mouth and chest compressions. She starts crying, and she ices up her hands to try to shock him. And we get day 9, DC, the Human Target. They've changed this time they've changed the hotel sign to say that. It looks really cool. It says, and when I have stolen upon these sons-in-law. Okay. It's the title. Writer Tom King, artist Greg Smallwood, letterer Clayton Cowles, editor Ben Abernathy. Sorry, no vacancy.
Looks like there might be one pretty soon.
Well, we'll find out. Human Target was originally created by Len Wein and Carmen Infantino, two people who have never created anything else in their lives.
It was
that
just
joke
this.
Will never
they
get
just
old.
did this book, and that was it. One and done. Out. Created something great, or created this character, and that they're like, we don't need to do anything else. Walk away from comics altogether.
Yep, as I pointed out on previous podcasts, Len Wein's most famous character, the Human Target.
One and only. Mm-hmm.
Do you think, I wonder, so the Human Target had how many seasons
2.
did that show go?
2.
It was just 1?
I think it was 2.
It 2? How many X-Men movies are there?
I think so.
Like 6? And then the Wolverine movie,
there's
7.
Multiple Wolverine movies.
And the other Wolverine movie, that's 8.
That's 3.
And then Wolverine being in... Then Wolverine being in...
3 Wolverine movies.
And then Wolverine was in Deadpool. I was just pondering, does the Human Target have more live action screen time than Wolverine?
In episode? For season?
Yeah, we're not going to... If we don't count the cartoons. In screen literal time. Because if those were 45-minute shows times whatever, if they were full seasons of like 21 episodes, 22 episodes, then Christopher Chance may technically have more
screen time,
live appearance screen time than Wolverine.
Oh, whoa! That's
just a thought, and just tossing
somebody
that
do the math for us. We're bad at it.
I'm good. I'm not bad at math.
I'm trying to give the listener a thing to do. Listener out there, dear listener, please do the math. Get back to us. Tell us how much screen time has Christopher Chance had versus our friend, the Wolverine.
Okay, well, where is he?
Where's Christopher Chance or the Wolverine? The Wolverine, he's been hanging out with Deadpool for a while.
Christopher Chance.
But, Christopher Chance, it looks like he's back in the doctor's office again.
Speaking of Wolverine.
You want Danny DeVito to play him.
I just read the 3rd issue of Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. And,
Oh
she's world
no.
building. And that can only mean she plans on to be on the book for
Oh,
a
that
minute.
Gail Simone. That crafty writer her.
And that makes me very happy.
Whenever she starts to build a world, she's...
And they usually end up really good. I mean, Secret Six was so good.
Oh,
Anyway,
now,
okay.
Now I'm gonna have to go get these books. And
I have to go and get these books. Anyway, Christopher Chance is back under the care of Dr. Midnight because Ice brings him in. And he wakes up, and they immediately give him his alcohol.
Best medicine, right? I mean, Breakfast of Champions, gotta wake up. And Dog of the Hair. The Dog of the Hair? Hair of the Dog. You know what I mean. Dog hair, yeah.
Dog hair?
Get all the dog hair, Chris.
I wake up with dog hair every day.
Nothing but dog hair.
Everywhere, yeah. I even got a little robot vacuum to suck all the dog hair
up. And is it working?
I mean, every morning it has dog hair in the vacuum.
Something.
I don't think it sucks all of the dog hair up. Sometimes I just find it in random places. Kind of like Christopher Chance.
The robot or the dog? Both? Okay.
The robot. The dog hair is in every place. Like, the dog hair is in random places. It's everywhere.
Is like, help. Fall down some stairs.
Yeah, it'll just be lost somewhere. It doesn't fall downstairs, but it does get lost.
Mine's a dumb one.
It's not very smart. Well, anyway, Christopher Chance and Ice go out on a road trip again. And Chance seems like he's going a little crazy. He says, I expected him at the hotel around 10. I woke up in a JL med unit around noon. Seems like that would have just made it easier for him. I don't know what he's waiting for. And he's like, I've been tracking every car. Not sure why he'd take another home. He keeps looking behind him. He seems like he's going a little crazy. And they're driving.
North by Northwest feel to it.
It does have a North by Northwest. In fact, I brought that movie up last night. I watched the what is wrong with you? I literally just watched the movie last night. And then
was it that movie with that one guy and that one? Oh man,
Rear Window.
Yeah.
Stop.
The one, the remake, the one where they have
not the remake. No,
the updated remake, the really updated one.
No,
with the kid that was in Holes.
No. Yeah, no.
With
I
Transformers
watched Rear
guy.
Window. It was somebody who had never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was explaining what happened with Grace Kelly and how that she was in Dial M for Murder and Rear Window.
Princess.
And then was in that country hick movie, and that's the one she won the Academy Award for, even though her performance in the other movie is better. And how she just quit acting when she became the Princess of Monaco.
It's crazy because you're right. The other movies, she killed in those roles, or as the kids today would say, slayed in them.
Well, they couldn't let Hitchcock win anything until North by Northwest, right? So that's interesting that you brought that up. But this does have a North by Northwest. Oh my gosh!
When I read this, I was like, "This feels very North by Northwest." The whole issue. It's just that.
And see, now I have to go back and rewatch North by Northwest.
Side note: when I was a kid and we were moving cross country and we stopped at Mount Rushmore, and I got to we went there late at night, and it was right as they were closing because that's what you do. But it was totally that kind of feeling of when he goes and he's there by himself, and I was like, this feels just like the movie. And then I thought I was going to get chased by somebody with a gun.
I mean, that could be. Well, I mean, I just watched a movie where Perry Mason tried to murder
Whoa,
Jimmy
yeah.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy too how like they turned Raymond Burr into a pseudo sex symbol 3 years
3 years
after
after.
that movie came out, and he was like a frumpy gray-haired old
Yeah.
man in the movie.
I mean,
And then
it was a different time, Dan.
I bet the kids don't even know who Perry Mason is. That's the
don't.
scary part. You know what you have to do too? You have to go like, because now the new
Yeah.
Matlock show
Which
is
is
on.
pretty good.
And so you have, I've liked it so far. It's annoying that it
Uh-huh.
comes out once a week. That's one I would binge
Yep.
in a heartbeat. But it's like you have to now go, oh, have you seen Matlock? Oh yeah, I know what Matlock is. So Matlock just copied Perry Mason
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh.
And they're like, oh. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
Back to the
we're
book.
back to the book, and at least Christopher Chance seems to think he's being
Yes.
north by northwested, if that's a action verb.
It is now.
And it is now. And Ice gets frustrated and is like, are we going to talk about you dying? And he's like, yeah, I lied to you. I've got 4 days left.
Mm.
And she's not happy. But he's thinking, but I have other troubles. So they sit down at a diner, and Ice is being super nice to the waitstaff there, and Christopher Chance is still going crazy. He's thinking the whole time, thinking about that this guy who's following him has to be one step ahead. And he wants to be one step ahead. He doesn't like to be beat. And Chance gets up and he goes and taps this guy on the shoulder. And he's like, hey, one professional to another, I like the look. If I didn't know you, I wouldn't know you. And this guy, poor guy's like, is there something wrong? And Ice is like, Christopher, what the fuck are you doing? Of course, we can't say fuck in this book. People can only fuck. We can't say fuck. Yeah. And then he's like, the guy's like, I don't know who you think you are, but you better remove your hand. And the dude like stands up to fight, and Christopher Chance beats the shit out of him, knocks him on the ground, unconscious. The waitress is now freaking the fuck out.
She's like, whoa.
Ice is freaking out. Ice throws some money at the staff, hoping they'll forget what happened. And Chance still has his whole inner dialogue going, telling him he thinks he's right there, that he's outside, and Ice drags him out. And then Ice is just going off. She's like, what is this? I wake up and you're dead. What the fuck? Where are we going? Is this how we're going to live? And she's like demanding answers, and Chance is sweating.
He is, yeah.
And he's just like, if I could just get... It does really have a north... You know, I didn't think about that
totally
for the book, but it really has a north by
I'm
northwest
waiting for a plane. I'm waiting for
vibe to it.
Something to come out of the sky at them.
Yeah. And then Ice gets very mad and wants him to stop driving. So instead of just locking down the car or braking, she creates an ice slick and the car flies off the road. And he reaches out to her and her hand is cold. We get a Breaking Bad scene at the bottom. You've got the Gila monster. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, just kind of hanging out.
And anyway, the car is done. It's
cooked.
Smoking. His car is by far the biggest victim across the series.
It's getting worked over left and right. I mean, every other issue of this book series, that car takes a beating. It does not Nobody lets up on it. Guy Gardner beats it up. Christopher Chance beats it up. It is. I mean, he beats his own car up. Ice beats it up. It is worked.
Yep. Yep.
Such a nice car.
And now Christopher Chance is stuck and he's freaking out. And then he starts talking to Ice again while he's freaking out. And she's like, we could have died. Shouldn't you be mad? And he's like, I'm fine. I don't care about dying, because he's about to die anyway. And then he apologizes for not telling her. And he says, I'm sorry for a lot of things. And she's like, is it because you have trouble sharing? Now they're both drinking the alcohol.
That's what you do when you're stuck in the desert.
And, well, I mean, she got her way.
Yeah.
She made him talk. And so, and Ice admits that she's afraid of herself and everything. Chance says he's afraid of her too. Seems like a good thing to be in the middle of the desert, somebody you're afraid of, and sleeping with them at the same time. Seems completely good relationship.
It's a very honest and open, safe, and secure relationship. It's the type of thing that people talk about and say that they strive for.
Well, and then we get some interesting disclosure. Well, I think you're going somewhere, and I'm going back to the book. When I died, Ice says, when I died. I mean, you set this up, so I don't want to go down your path because you set up her dialogue. So when I died, it was all of a sudden, I was fighting. I was so mad, and then I was awake somewhere else. And years had gone by. Fire was there, and I didn't feel like anything. I remember being so scared because there wasn't anything in between. No heaven or hell or even a stray thought. Just eyes shut, eyes open. You are, then you aren't. And Chance is like, every day you die, every moment you're not who you were the moment before. We're getting all philosophical here. Philosophical.
All the philosophies.
Well, anyway, it's all good. Ice makes a house of ice. It's big. I didn't know she could just do that.
Whatever she wants out of ice. That's her superpower. It's almost a magic power. It is magical.
It seems pretty magical this time because she waves her hand and there's a giant ice car and an ice house. And she's like, we're out in the desert. And he's like, I'm in trouble. She's still like, he's still like, I only have 4 days to live. And then he starts disclosing that he's paranoid. He's like, I sent this message about Guy Gardner. I'm not perfect. Somebody could see through it. And she's like, who's better than... And he's like, you didn't have to build a liquor cabinet, do you? And she's like, I saved your life this morning. I didn't kill you when I found out. You've been lying to me for days. Maybe do me the courtesy of just answering fucking questions. He's like, Batman. Batman's better than me. And she's like, fuck.
Batman is better than you, Christopher. And
he's like, I know by now, or he knows by now. And he's just freaking out. And then he's like, settles in on I love you. And I fucked up.
Well, he's honest.
And then she starts to get a little paranoid. and then just settles for, I'm going to the bed upstairs, are you coming? So that seems to be the theme of the whole book.
Mm.
And he's still paranoid. He wakes up in the middle of the night expecting to see Batman.
He's been waiting, man.
I mean, there is no Batman.
Oh my gosh, is Batman like Santa Claus? Like you wait for him all the time. You think he's always there watching you. You are always looking out for him, but he's not really there. He doesn't exist. Spoiler alert, kids.
Well, what he comes to a conclusion, he says he saw through the video and checked it out and assumed the JLI were up to their usual nonsense, decided not to interfere. He left us alone because he figured out Guy Gardner's still alive. What?
What? I haven't read that.
What?
What?
What? What? It's what it says right here on the page, right? By to be continued.
No. Gosh darn it! I gotta read the next read the next issue.
You probably should read it to find out if Christopher Chance is being paranoid or if it's true. How could Guy Gardner be alive though? This was not a comic book death. He was like into it from
apart like a human meatball, like ice.
Human.
I don't know.
Ice balls.
Yeah, like a giant like one of those icicles that falls and hits you in the face while you're trying to shoot your Red Ryder BB gun. Yeah, exactly, just like that.
Meatsicles.
They made a meatsicle.
They made meatsicles. Meatsicles.
And then broke them apart.
Yes, you just pull one out of the freezer and it's right there. It's like a popsicle, but it's meat, which makes it even better. Yeah, nothing like red meatsicles.
Okay.
Like steak pops.
Everybody likes the steak pops.
Yeah. I hear they're all the rage in Springfield, Ohio.
Steak pop. Put that on the list of things that Dan wants to try.
I mean,
would you like just get a tomahawk steak and just like eat it like that?
Stop giving me ideas. I'd probably do this. I'm running an event right now, and like over a third of the participants ask for no beef, pork, or vegetable, and half of those just want vegetables. And I'm ordering all the food. I'm just sad. And chicken. I did get some chicken, but
vegetables and chicken. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's just sad.
You can eat all the red meat you want in the comfort of your own home. And bacon. And
more bacon.
Yes.
Bacon and extra bacon.
Who doesn't want that?
Everybody wants bacon and extra. No, clearly not everybody does. Honestly, I probably should be eating more vegetarian things because I'd be healthier. But that aside, this is a good issue. It's another one that's hard to do on the podcast because of all the subtext that's happening. But you need it to continue on.
It's one that I recommend
next time.
Everyone that listens to this should go get to read because there's so much going on between the lines.
And next issue we get read this one because it's downhill from here.
No, the next issue is fantastic. Yes.
No. It's your favorite character next issue.
I'm excited. That's why my dogs are barking.
They're excited too. That's everybody's hint, folks. You get that. Well, we've got to actually wrap this up. I know it's a short one, but it's a good issue. You should read it. We do have some people that we do like. Yeah. On occasion. Well, one are our listeners, like Jason and Sean. I think we have
think
more than
so.
two now.
I want to say that there might be a few more out there in the fray, and I think this will go up probably after the show, but I'm sure, Dan, you'll get to meet a few of those listeners when we go to the show in Tacoma. Yeah.
Oh, at Grit City Comic Con. Hopefully, when this posts, we have already been there and talked to some of you, or we haven't already, actually, because I think. Hang on, let me do some math here. Here, you introduce you talk about how great the store is, and I'm gonna figure out if this goes up before or not.
Sure thing. So one of the things that Dan is alluding to is the Retro Emporium on 320 Meeker Street in downtown illustrious Kent, Washington, historic Kent, Washington, if you will. The Retro Emporium, owned and operated by my wife and myself. Occasionally, I am there, as some people have said, "Why are you here?" when they see me behind the counter. And I said, because I'm working here today. So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
If you want your 80s and 90s retro items, come on down, check it out. Check it out online, Facebook and Instagram. See all the fun stuff. And we do events as well. So check those out. Got a Golden Girls painting event coming up. So seats are selling fast. I'm not even. That's not even like hype. That's like literally I was in the store and like four groups. I say groups because they were coming in to do multiples, and we only have 20 seats, and we're almost sold out. So I'm like, wow, okay. Golden Girls are very, very popular. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm going to tell you before I talk about our other friend. That I actually will release this podcast the morning of Grit City Comic Con. I will release it one day early. So if you're listening right now, come down to the convention center in Tacoma and come meet Greg and I.
Hang out. You would.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? And you could also, while you're in Tacoma, go visit Jiu-Jitsu leader Paul Boudreau.
Yeah.
At Certified Martial Arts. Now a Kyotera affiliate. I don't know what that means, but yeah. I'm sure if you do jiu-jitsu,
if you know, you know. And if you don't, you're gonna find out as soon as you walk through the door.
There's a cool new sign that says it at the gym.
That's cool.
And honestly, too, like, I mean, this is gonna sound like a flex, but it's really not. Over the last year and a couple of months, I've lost 20 real pounds with Paul as my trainer. And when I say real pounds, I mean, like, I've slowly gone from 228 back down to 208. And quite happy with that. And so, you know, if you, again, I know Paul mostly does jiu-jitsu, but, you know, you could personal training with him. You could set up a program. You can go in and do jiu-jitsu. Personally, I train with him and then also do some training at home and walk the dog a lot. But yeah, you can set kind of those things up. So I went from being puny to being stronger and then starting to get puny, which is good. I want to be puny now. I want to be puny banner.
Puny banner. Get on a plan like Dan is what I'm hearing.
But
get on a plan like Dan.
I mean, you could, obviously, if you go in, well, and one of the things he will do with you, too, if you've ever been interested in doing grappling or anything like that. I know a lot of people are intimidated by it because you think jiu-jitsu, it sounds like scary. It's honestly really not that scary. Like, you go in and you learn to grapple and you learn to put people in holds and stuff. And basically, but one of the things Paul can do with you is he can do a boot camp with you or, you know, help you get in shape to enjoy that. So if it's ever something you've been interested in, then he can take you on a little journey to get you, you know, up to speed, right? So you can enjoy yourself while you're doing it. And yeah. And he recently got a bronze medal in the absolute division in Vancouver. I forget which event it was, but it was a big grappling association of, I think it was ADCC. I think that's the one for the jiu-jitsu folks. And he got it in the absolute division, which means he had to go, his 170-pound self had to go against people that were like 210 pounds and 220 pounds.
That's
so there you go.
They had the size weight advantage. And he was He still
and he still got
a medal.
That's
tremendous.
It's like the old school UFC events.
Going up against Butterbean.
Butterbean. Wow.
Deep cut.
Yeah, I mean,
1990.
deep cut. Butterbean was a boxer.
You said UFC. I just went right back to the
he wasn't in UFC.
Oh,
bare knuckle fighting.
I thought he did like one of the early ones. I thought he did one of the early ones.
He probably
one of the early ones.
UFC. Probably because
it was one of the early octagons. I think I want to say he fought against Royce Gracie.
That would be
no. I could be totally wrong, but
I'm pulling up his Sherdog page right now for you. Let's find out. He did fight history, PFC fighting. He did fights in 2011. Jeez.
I thought he had been retired.
It's terrifying. He did a K1 event. He did a K1 event, but I don't see UFC on here. He did it in 2003.
I could have sworn he did something like one of the early. Did they call it something different back then?
Well, he did do an early. Okay. He did a K1 event in Japan. But no, he was doing like what they called it something else. There was no grappling.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So anyway, tough man. Like tough man, I think. They just call it tough man.
Everything, anything goes type thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was tough man fighting. It was a different. But anyway, yeah. I don't know how we get to Butterbean, but you know, if you want to improve yourself, learn some grappling, build a community, go hang out with Paul at Certified Martial Arts.
King. He'll help you out.
Yep. Talking to the little people. All right. Well, with that said, probably time to wrap up this episode because I'm getting a little creeped out. I think Batman's trying to break into my house now.
He sees when when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows.
He's trying to take my adorable dog away.
He needs another one for his.
Because who wouldn't want?
Well, your dog matches his outfit in his car, and his bat wing, and his bat boat, and his bat cave. So, I mean, looks like your dog could fit into Batman animated series. I'm thinking Batman's all about breaking into your house, so you better go lock your doors, Dan, and make sure everything's battened down for the evening.
I will definitely do that. Did you know that Butterbean is 77, 10, and 4 in boxing matches? And a bunch of those losses were at the end, right? So,
just punch people.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those losses were in his last 12 fights. So, yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, he fought Larry Holmes. Oh, lost. Well, anyway, Larry Holmes must have been really old when he fought Butterbean.
Too old then fighting.
Well, anyway, now that I'm down the Butterbean, whatever rabbit hole.
He's in the Butterbean hole. Everybody, watch out!
Wow. Well, let's get out of here. That's it for this episode of Funny Book Forensics. On that note, I'm Dan, that's Greg, and hope you had fun with us this time, and we'll see you next time for another issue of